Some people are emotional, they remember through emotion. There's one part in the Torah that strikes a chord in my heart. The Jews are standing on the banks of Yam Suf, the Red Sea. They have Egypt in the back. They have the sea in the front. The Gemara says in Mashal, it's like a dove stuck in the crevice of a rock. Inside the rock, there is a snake waiting to bite it. Outside the rock, there is an owl with its talons sharpened to rip open the dove. What is the dove gonna do? Where could it run? It has nowhere to run. It's stuck, it's trapped. What does Am Yisrael do in the last second? Hashem says, jump into the sea. Just jump. And at that point in the Torah, it says, V'yiz'aku b'nei Yisrael el Hashem. The Jewish people yelled. What do I mean by yell, Rabotai? What do I mean by yell? A gut-wrenching yell. A yell that could break hearts. Tears. Did you ever happen sometime in your life where somebody tells you something, like a very sad story? It happened to me one time. A long time ago, many people know this story, maybe you don't remember. A certain rabbi, his daughter was run over by a car. Young girl, maybe 6 years old. It was a while ago. I was maybe 16, 17 years old. It was a Friday, I remember. 6-year-old girl run over by a car. And for some reason, that story so much touched my neshama. I don't remember a time in my life where I cried more. For some reason, it took everything out of my neshama. When a person is in a tzara, when he's in a time of pain, he has nowhere to go. Hashem is waiting for such a cry. Why? Hashem is mean, chas v'shalom? Hashem has nothing better to do? Just save us. You know, this week's parasha we're going to read, Hashem gave us man, Hashem gave us this, Hashem gave us that. What? Hashem needs to give us man? Why does Hashem have to give us man? Hashem has all the money in the world, He has all the food in the world. He could just go like this, from the desert, could sprout out a jungle. I think that would be a bigger miracle than bread coming from heaven. Okay, I see bread coming from heaven. It tastes anything you want to taste. But imagine in the middle of the desert, a jungle sprouts, and you have anything you want over there. That's a pretty big miracle. You know, there is a place like that in the world. In Chile, there is a desert. It's one of the driest and hottest places in the earth. For some reason, once a year, the desert turns into a meadow. The most colorful flowers in the world. Check it out. I think it's called the Alcoma Desert. There's a place like that in the world. It's amazing. But for some reason, Hashem sent us down the man. Why? Hashem sent us down the man, the Torah says, to test us. Why did Hashem test us by sending us down the man? What's the emunah over here? I want to ask you something. You're telling me emunah. What's emunah? I don't have to work. I'm sitting in yeshiva all day. I'm doing nothing. My clothes are dry cleaned for me while I'm wearing them. And Hashem says, I'm testing you by giving you man. I don't see a test over here. I don't know what the test is. The Sforno says, that Hashem was testing us by giving us man, by the fact that we didn't have to work for it. Ask anybody in this room over here, what's their greatest dream? Top 5, win the lottery. Why? I win the lottery, machaya, leave me alone, life is good, I have a couple of zeros in my bank account. Gush Tej. Everything is good. I know what Hashem says. I gave you guys that once. As a test. And you failed it miserably. Hashem did it to us once. He gave us man. And not only that, we didn't have bank accounts back then. Do you know what the bank account was? The doorpost. On the doorpost came down the man. Shrach. Food for the day. Only for tzaddik. Back then everybody was a tzaddik. Only the Erev Rav was running for their food. Even the Tan V'Aviram. Even. If they were zochet to leave Egypt, trust me, we would also be zochet to leave Egypt. Trust me. Understand? And life as we go, Hashem is waiting for that yell. That yell that we yell, That's the yell that Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov did. Look at Rashi over there. That's the umanut of our fathers. That's the skill, that's the craftsmanship. If you ask me, what did Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov did all day? They weren't sitting in yeshiva all day. They were screaming and yelling to Hashem. I want you guys to paint a picture in your mind right now. Paint a picture. Imagine your father, chas v'shalom, not you guys, somebody's father. He worships idols. He worships Buddha, chas v'shalom. What's Buddha? Buddha is a statue. By the way, all yoga
Smiling statue.
has their roots in Buddha. Buddha. It's avodah zarah, by the way. Many rabbis say yoga is not allowed. Because all the things that they move, the things that they say, the mantras and all that, some do, some don't. All comes from Buddha. It's Buddhism. He worships Buddha. He's the high priest. And you're a young boy, your brothers also do it. Your whole family, the whole world does it. And you have a question. Who made Buddha? Where did he come from? Imagine it in your mind. You're a small boy, 3-year-old boy. You ask yourself, who made the statue? If this statue is God, has to be somebody made the statue. Heresy. How much do you have to yell for God to say, Avraham, hi, I'm here? In a world full of tum'ah, in a world full of avodah zarah, how much does a person have to yell? Has to yell. Just if you just think about it in your mind. Once in your life, just imagine it in your mind. How much does a person has to yell for God to reveal himself? In a world full of avodah zarah. It's not for nothing God called Avraham my beloved. It's not for nothing. In a world full of avodah zarah. Imagine Yitzchak Avinu. Your own father is about to take a shechita knife. You ever touch a shechita knife? My brother is a shechet. I once touched his knife. Playfully. I said to myself, how sharp could it be already? How sharp could it be? I just touched it like this. I didn't slide my finger across. I just touched it like this. I didn't feel anything. The next second my brother was saying, your whole finger is full of blood. I didn't even realize. Imagine your father in front of your eyes is taking a shechita knife and sharpening it, and he's saying, my son, I'm sorry. God said, you're gonna be you gotta go. I'm sorry. It's for the greater good. And you're 37 years old. You could do, he's gonna fly away. So Yitzchak is gevura. Imagine Yaakov Avinu. Rabotai. Imagine Yaakov. First of all, you have to think for yourself in just 1 second, think in your mind. How much Yitzchak had to yell at that moment just to believe that what his father was telling him was true. You think he didn't yell? It probably was the most gut-wrenching yell of a person that will ever hear in his life. Imagine Yaakov. Even Esav Harasha knew the power of the scream. How to yell to Hashem. And I'm going to connect it, Bezrat Hashem. What does it say over here in this week's parasha? Vehaya, and it will be. What's Vehaya? Vehaya, the Chachamim say, is a term of happiness. Ekef tishme'un, because you will listen, et hamishpatim ha'ele, these laws. Ushmartem va'asitem otam, and you will do them. And Hashem will guard you, bless you, keep the testimony with you, give you chesed. Keep the testimony. Oh, sounds good. What do I gotta do? Just tell me what I have to do and I'll do it. Rashi says, I'll tell you what you have to do. You don't have to go far. You don't have to go to the Orach Chaim. You don't have to go to the Ramban. You don't have to go to Dat Skenim. You don't have to go to all these Kli Yakar, all these Balaturim, all the Shachim. You know, go to Rashi. Just learn Rashi. Rashi says, what's Ekev? Those are the little mitzvot people trample on. That's the little stuff people don't pay attention to. What do you mean people don't pay attention to? People say, I keep Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, everyone keeps. Rosh Hashanah, everyone keeps. Pesach, I don't eat bread on Pesach. I eat crackers and lafa and shawarma. But bread, I don't eat bread on Pesach. I keep the big stuff. Nida, Goya, never. Goya, I would never touch. The big stuff I keep. Tefillin, I put every day. I put that box. What is that box made out of? Wood, of course. You don't know what tefillin is, obviously. It's made out of cowskin. That box is made of cowskin. It's leather. Hardened leather. Tefillin. Hashem says, you know, there was a story once. Hashem says, there was a king called Nebuchadnezzar.
Oh, I know that one.
Who's Nebuchadnezzar? The guy this short. Conqueror of the world. Destroyer of the Beit HaMikdash. Not the second one, the first one. The man used to eat animals alive. Thirst for blood. He was able to write a Tehillim that was better than David HaMelech's. Until Gabriel HaMalach came and slapped him on the face. Like, shut up, I don't want to hear it. That's a different discussion, by the way. Why did he shut his mouth? It's good. Goyim are praying, saying thank you to Hashem. It's a different discussion. He ruled over the known world. He built one of the greatest cities, Babylon, Bavel. Nebuchadnezzar Harasha, Rabotai, was such a big Rasha. When he destroyed the Beit HaMikdash, you know what he did? Open up a Masechet Gittin. He took all the Bachurim of Am Yisrael. He put them down on the floor. He trampled them with his horses. His general, his name was Nebuzaradan. He saw blood boiling. He took thousands of Jews. He spilt it on the blood. Spilt it on the blood. Spilt it. Do you know why Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the Beit HaMikdash? Rabotai. Not the second one, the first one. Do you guys do you know why it got destroyed? Because the Jews did Avodah Zarah. They did, but that's not why he destroyed it.
Dreams.
That's why he was Zochet to be the one. But I'm asking you, what did the Jews do wrong?
Hate each other.
That's the second Beis HaMikdash. I'm talking about the first one. You never heard about that one, did you? When the Jews used to learn Torah, they wouldn't say a bracha. That was the big offense. Okay, at least they're learning Torah. It says, time of Chizkiyahu HaMelech, a little boy, knew halachot of Tumah v'Tahara. He searched from Be'er Sheva until Dan. There was no Jew that didn't know halachot Nidah. Back and forth. And not the halachot Nidah of today. You think halachot Nidah of today is complex? Today, halachot Nidah is nothing. Open up a Shulchan Aruch. Back in the day, it was 10 times more complex. Today, everything is a Zavak Dola. Back then there was Nidah, Zavak Tana, Zavak Dola, Shomeret Yom Keneged Yom. She was able to dip in the morning, in some cases. She couldn't touch the Tum'ah. Let's say she saw blood now, all the Tarot she touched within 24 hours was Tameh. Beit Shammai, Beit Hillel, Chachamim. Just the first Mishnah is going to make you go crazy in Masechet Nidah. Just the first Mishnah. Zav, Zava, all the kids knew these halachot. What was their big offense? Ribono shel olam. They didn't say a bracha before they learned Torah. That's what Rashi is telling us over here. Hashem is saying, you think you're doing the big stuff and you're making me happy. I'm not looking for the big stuff. I'm looking for the small stuff. I'm looking for the little guy. Do you know a guy with a big neshama and a guy with a small neshama? Who's more favorable in the eyes of Hashem? You know, we look at rabbis like great rabbis that were Ben Ish Chai, Rav Ovadia. We look at rabbis like Rav Abdallah Somech, Rabbi Yehuda Ptaye. We look at giants, Rabbi Akiva Eager. We look at Gidolei Olam. We say, oh, if only Hashem made us like them. Only. You know what the Pirkei Avot says to this kind of guy? Da et mekomcha, know your place. God didn't create you like them for a reason. And you know what? For them to become who they were supposed to be, you know how much they have to work? Are you willing to stay up all night and learn Torah for years? That's what Yaakov Avinu did. In the Yeshiva of Shem Va'ever. That's why he became Yaakov Avinu. 14 years. Kiminyan David. Are you willing to pray? But Tachanonim say every word. Do you know how they used to pray, these giants? They just used to learn Torah all day. These men used to pray to Hashem. Rav Ovadia, when he lost his eyesight. You know, he lost his eyesight. That's why he used to wear those glasses. Why? When he was younger, there was no fluorescent. When they used to learn at night, he used to learn to candle lighting. He used to learn so much at night, his eyesight became so bad. At a certain age, he lost it. Blackness. He used to pray Aravit by himself. His sons say, he used to pray B'Yechidut Aravit. He used to pray so hard, he used to cry. The floor used to become wet from his tears. One day he went to the Beit Yosef's kever, or Yosef Karo. His Maran, I spent my life expanding your teachings, open up my eyes. If we would go to Maran Beit Yosef's kever right now, we would say, what do you think would happen, Rabotai? Just imagine if our tefillah would go up there. The next morning, the guy was looking like he never lost his eyesight. Could you believe such a thing? But for him to get to that position, first he had to go through a lot. We small people over here, Hashem is not asking us a lot. V'haya ekev tishme'un. I'm asking for the small stuff. You do Nitlat Yadayim correctly in the morning? Do you do Birchot HaShachar correctly? Do you have kavanah when you say Birchot HaTorah? Do you know women also have to say Birchot HaTorah? They also have mitzvot they have to learn. Women also have to say, every morning women have to say Birchot HaTorah.
It's mandatory to say Shema.
If it's mandatory, you should at least say it, yes, of course. At least once a day you have to say Shema. For women. You understand? You don't have to say it twice a day, because that's already a time-bound mitzvah, but at least once a day you have to pray. Why? Because prayer is not time-bound. That's already a separate thing. Rabotai, Hashem says over here, if you keep the small mitzvot, look at the promise Hashem gives. Look at the promise, Rabotai. It's crazy. Just look, just to read, Rabotai. The Torah is open for you. It's not running away. It's not across the river. I promise you, Hashem says, there will be no woman in the world for the Jews that will have a problem having kids. Lo yeh lecha akara. There will be no barren woman. No such kind of thing. Barren woman, chas shalom. Just keep the small stuff. What will a person do? You ever meet a person who doesn't have kids? 5, 6, 7 years? Dead. It's like they're dead. You know, I just want to give you a small example of the time when I read this story, I had goosebumps. Goosebumps. Remember the story. You guys could use this as advice to people that you know. There was once one guy didn't have kids for 7 years. The story is written in the book Baruch Nafshi. 7 years. You know what 7 years not having kids? Already, what's the purpose of life? Rachel Imeinu said, Havali banim. Give me kids. If not, I'm dead. He went to Rav Shlomke Mizavir. His name was Shlomo. They used to call him Rav Shlomke Mizavir, Tzaddik Nistar. This guy was such a tzaddik. You guys know, to get to the Kotel HaMaravi, the Western Wall, there's 2 main gates. Sha'ar Yafo, with the Arab Shuk. Right? You know the Arab Shuk? And then there is Sha'ar Shechem. Sha'ar Shechem today, no Jew walks over there. You walk over there, forget about it. You're not coming out alive. This story is about 50, 60 years ago. This man used to walk to the Kotel HaMaravi every single time through Sha'ar Shechem. And they told him, Rebbe, what are you doing? How could you walk through the gate of Shechem? Go through the gate of Yaffo, the Jaffa gate. He says, in the Jaffa gate, there's women that are immodest. In the gate of Shechem, over there's no immodest women, but there's bloodthirsty Arabs. What's more important, to save my soul or to save my body? He said, I'd rather take the beatings on my body than on my soul. I'd rather go to the Shechem. And no Arab ever touched him.
Did he look Jewish?
Huh?
Did he look Jewish?
I should show you a picture once. So this guy once came to Rav Shlomke. He says, Rav Shlomke, who's a big tzaddik nistar, by the way, one of the biggest Lamed Vav tzaddikim. He said to him, Rebbe, 7 kids, 7 years, no kids. Give me something. What should I do already? What kind of tefillin should I get? Should I wear tchelut in my tzitzit? Should I wear that blue thing on my... What should I do? Shmirat Shabbat. What can I do already? Rav Shlomke knew the guy a bit. He says to him, listen, you go to the mikveh, avada. I go to the mikveh every day for shaharit. I go and before Shabbat. Because I hear that you're one of the biggest talkers in the mikveh. Whenever you go to the mikveh, you have a group of people surrounding you, and you guys talk news over there. You ever go to a mikveh, you're in the water, and people are just talking in the water over there?
No.
It's like a sauna.
No.
The guy says, yeah, it's one of my, it's one of my pastimes. What can I do? It's my ta'ava. People have cigarettes, people have alcohol. I speak in the mikveh. You know, it's the one time I get together with my friends. Rav Shlomke says, but is it true that after you leave the mikveh and you go to the shul, you don't stop talking? You go to the shul and you speak over there too? He says, listen, yeah, it's true. He says, you want to have kids? Yeah. Stop talking in the mikveh. Stop talking in shul. 9 months later, the guy was holding a baby boy and he gave the sandak to Shlomke to Mizavil. And when he asked his Rebbe, everything is midah keneged midah, right? Midah keneged midah, attribute for attribute, characters. What's the midah keneged midah over here? What did I do already? Okay, I stopped talking. What did I do already that Hashem gave me the child? Rav Shlomke says, Hashem gave a person a certain amount of words, he says, in this world.
Yep.
Hashem, by the way, you don't know this, also gave a person a certain amount of pleasure he has in this world. You can't go over that pleasure amount. For some people, when they talk a lot, it's like Gan Eden for them. You ever see those kind of people?
Yeah.
In men, it's a bit rare, but there are men like that. They can't stop talking. Because you were using too much of your pleasure. So in Shamayim, they said, listen, this guy is having fun in a mikveh and shul. Okay, he can't have kids, because when you have a child, it's pleasure. So I just reversed it. Instead of you having pleasure in the mikveh and in shul by talking 24/7, I told you to close your mouth, and they gave you a child. Rabotai, what did he have to do? Did he have to fast for 40 days and 40 nights?
No.
Nothing.
Something small.
Something small. Just don't talk in the mikveh. Don't talk in shul. How many of us talk in shul, Rabotai? In Hashem's house. This is what Rashi is saying over here. This is the mitzvot people trample on. Stop talking in shul. Stop talking in the mikveh. The mikveh is not a sauna. You want to go to Ruski Banya? I don't even know if you're allowed to go over there. I heard they made a VHQ over there right now. I don't know if it's true.
It's kosher, I don't know.
That's what I heard. Don't quote me. I'll give you another story, Rabotai. Another story. How many times in our life people make us angry and we have such jal? You know what jal is?
Yes.
Such jal inside of us. It could be your father, it could be your mother, it could be your wife, it could be anybody, your brother. Such jal you have to answer back.
Yeah.
If you don't answer back for you, it's like you went to Gehenom and came back.
Yes. How do you control that?
There was once a big rabbi. Yes, also this story is brought by Bar Kinafshi. There was once one big rabbi. His name was Rabbi Avraham Kahana. I gave you a name, check it up. Rabbi Avraham Kahana. We all know, where does the rabbi sit in shul? In the front, in the Mizrach, in the east. That's the makom of the rabbi. It's prime real estate over there. The rabbi, it's not, nobody comes close. Don't touch the rabbi's seat. It's the rabbi's side. But when you have a chatan, bar mitzvah, chatan kala, they also sit in the front over there. They have an important guest, they sit over there. There was once a Shabbat chatan, I believe, and they invited from the girl side. They invited this rabbi called Rav Avram Kahana. If you guys don't know, Rav Avram Kahana is one of the greatest. He started up the whole thing of seminars for girls. He has a lot of zchuyot, big tzaddik. And they made a table over there, let's say from this wall to this wall, for the people, the important people to sit in the east of the shul. So the wife of the girl went to his seminar. So they invited Rav Avram Kahana to sit in the east. I said, okay, he was a very big anav, by the way, very humble. He sat in the east. Suddenly from the Chatan side came. You have 5 Rosh Hashivas, 6 Reish Matiftas, 7 Shamashim of Admorim, and there's not enough space in the east. So one of the students of the Chatan side came to this rabbi. I didn't know who he was. He says, excuse me, what are you doing over here on the east? Get up and go sit over there. Go to the west. This place is not for you. Imagine somebody would tell you such a thing. Get up. You know how embarrassed you would get?
Yeah.
Ever somebody you sit in shul? This happened to me a couple of times. You sit in shul, you put your tefillin down, you go to the bathroom for a second, the next second your tefillin is on the other side of the room. It's hurtful. Come on, you see somebody sitting over here. Why are you taking the spot? I'm not saying I bought it, but it's not nice. Or somebody, you're praying and somebody puts his stuff right on top of your stuff. Come on, where's the derech eretz? Imagine somebody kicks you out of a seat in front of a whole hall. How embarrassing would that be? What do you think Rav Avram Kahana did at that moment? He went to the side of the shul. He took out a Tehillim. He said, Ribono Shel Olam, because of the embarrassment I just suffered right now, please give so-and-so that lives in so-and-so a child. She hasn't had children in 10 years. Because of the embarrassment I just had, please give this person a child. 10 years she hasn't had a child. Rabotai, this is a true story. This is a true story. In 9 months, the woman was holding a baby in her arms. In 9 months, the doctor said she cannot have kids. She cannot. How many, I know a person, $30,000 on medication just to have kids. What did it take just for this woman to get pregnant? One time a person should get hurt, he shouldn't answer back. He says, Hashem, don't bless me, bless that woman. She was having a baby. Could you imagine such a thing? I'll tell you another story. True stories, Rabotai. This is something, you guys look for these kind of people. Look for them. Look for them. Just don't ask to win the lottery. There was a woman, 26 years old, in Bnei Brak. Not married. In Bnei Brak, you're 26 years old, you're not married, you're never getting married. You're finished. She worked as a teacher in Beis Yaakov. And in her class, many of the girls were always fighting with each other. When she saw all the girls fighting, she started to give a lot of stories of tzaddikim, how it's bad to hurt somebody's feelings, ona advarim, avera deoraita. She told her students, and anytime somebody hurts you and you don't answer back, if you pray for something at that moment, Hashem answers your prayer. She didn't know how much effect her words will have on the students. One day she's eating lunch and a student walks up to her, Mora, teacher, female. Somebody just really hurt me in the class and I didn't answer back. And you know what I prayed for, she said? I prayed for you should get married.
Oh my God.
The girl was engaged in 30 days. In 30 days she was engaged. Rabotai, what's the power when somebody hurts you and you don't answer back? So you know what, sometimes with some people have a bad mentality, you didn't answer back to them? You shmata, you're nobody. They're gonna trample on you your whole life. That's against the Torah. The Torah says, "Hane'elavim beinam olvim." The people who get made fun of and they don't answer back, you know what they're like? They're like the sun that shines its rays in the morning. Hashem takes these people and kisses them. They are like Hashem at that moment. That's the midah of Hashem, you know that? That's what Hashem does all day. All day Hashem is being made fun of, chas v'shalom, and He doesn't answer back. That's what Hashem does all day. You do an avera, you do a sin. You know what you just did? You spat in Hashem's face, and still He gives you life. When a person makes fun of you and you don't answer back, you are like God at that moment. That's why anything you say comes true. And that's not only a person in the street, it's also people in your own house. People in your own house that put you down and you don't answer back. Anything you say at that moment, say a wish for somebody, it's going to come true. That's what Rashi is saying here. This is the things that people trample on. This is it. Rabotai, vaya ekev tishme'un. There was once a guy. Once I'm already saying a story, I can't stop. There was once a guy. It's also brought down by Barkei Nafshi. Great book, I recommend it. The guy had super success in anything he does. You ever heard the hand of Midas? The legend of the hand of Midas? Anything he touched turned into gold. The guy had success. One time one of the rabbis in the shchuna in the neighborhood said, listen, I need to know what's this guy's success. What's this guy's success? You know, anytime a person takes upon himself a mitzvah, and especially if the person has an addiction, or a ta'ava, you have a desire for something and you say to yourself, I'm not going to do it anymore. I love to eat steak every day. I say from now on, steak is only for Shabbat. You don't know how many korbanot you do every day. It's like you fasted 100 times every day. What's a fast? You fast for 24 hours, 12 hours max. Some people don't even feel it. But you know what it is to a person who used to be a smoker, and you take a cigarette in front of his face, and you're smoking it, and he says to himself, I'm not going to smoke. He just fasted 100 fasts. Right then. In that moment, when he said, I'm not going to smoke anymore. He just gave his neshama over. A person can't wake up for shacharit in the morning. And he kills himself. He's waking up for shacharit. That's it, he's doing it. And he does it day after day after day. You know what he's doing in Shamayim, Rabotai? The guys, you don't know. You think Hashem doesn't play a pivotal role in your life. God is just God. God is looking at every single one of your actions, every single second of your life. He's playing a role in everything. He's looking at what you're doing. He knows what you're doing. He's there every second. So there was this one guy, he had a success in business, in life, everything. So the rabbi told him, what did you take upon yourself that God is blessing you like this? He was a Sephardi guy. So he said, listen, I used to have very big problems in Shalom Bait. It's a true story, but I'm not just saying it's because Shalom Bait. It's true. I used to have problems in my family harmony, and I took it upon myself no matter what. I could have a bullet. She could put a bullet in my head. I'm not fighting. It takes two to fight, it takes two to tango. I'm not tangoing.
Wow.
I'm not dancing. I'm not fighting. When is the biggest time that person has a test of Shalom Bait? What day of the week? Actually Friday. Friday is worse than Shabbat. When the preparation comes. That Friday, the Satan, for him, it's crunch time. He's prime time. This is the NFL. This is the Super Bowl for him. And especially when after midday, when already the Ha'arat Shabbat is coming, the guy is ready. You know, sometimes you get a very big thing. Shabbat's coming. You go to the mikveh. Finally, you went to the mikveh. You reach time targum. You're like, oh, I can't wait to get that neshama yetera. And suddenly a big jam comes. You're like, Shabbat, ani lo tzarich et zeh. So the Satan is waiting for that moment after midday on Friday. So this rabbi happened to be in this guy's house at Friday at that time. And the lady of the house, the female, the wife, she was holding in her hands a bottle of oil made out of glass. Not made out of plastic. Not Wesson oil you pour. This is glass oil. And she wasn't paying attention. She moved her hand. She banged it against the cabinet. The whole thing fell. On Erev Shabbat. Everybody's already dressed for their Shabbat clothes. The oil spill. Prach. It splattered everywhere. All the kids started to jump. Splish splash. And they're having a shower in oil. The wife got so angry. She looked at the husband. You klutz! You don't see that I have a bottle of oil in my hands? Because of you it broke. She's screaming at him. If it was anyone else, what would we say? What are you, lost your mind over here? Was I holding the bottle of oil? You're the klutz. You had the oil in your hand. You should have seen where you were going. You banged it. You dropped it. The guy heard insults from his wife for half an hour straight. She was blaming him. He didn't say a word. The rabbi was so scared when he was hearing this. He said, this guy is Faradi. He said, this guy's going to eat her up right now. He said, I'm going to leave this house right now. This might be a murder case over here. But he saw that the husband didn't say a word. Ribono Shalom. He went to the husband afterwards. He said, no more questions. Now I see why God blesses you. He says, but what's your secret? What do you tell yourself in your mind when she does this to you? And this could also be the other way around. Doesn't really make a difference. This happened to be the story was like that. He says to me, you know what I tell myself in my mind when such a thing happens? He says to me, what's the greatest rabbi you know? Let's say we. Rav Ovadia Yosef, Ben Ish Chai. If the Ben Ish Chai was in the room right now, would we answer back to our wives? We would be on our best behavior. Ben Ish Chai is standing right there. You want to show that we're tzaddikim. Okay, the Ben Ish Chai is not in our house. You know who's in our house? Hashem is in our house. Why don't we want to be in our best behavior when Hashem is in our house? What, we care when the Ben Ish Chai is in our house, but we don't care when a God is in our house? That's what I tell myself in my mind to calm myself down. That's my secret. When I heard this story, Rabotai, I said, you know, there are still tzaddikim in this world. There are still tzaddikim. This is what Rashi is saying, Rabotai. This is what Hashem is asking from us. V'haya ekev tishme'un. Look for the small stuff in the heel where people trample on. That's what happens. The little guy gets always, you know, I'm going to tell you a little last story. I want to tell you two more stories, but I'm going to say one more.
I'll say the second one too.
I saw this inspirational video. I don't remember the names. I saw it a while ago. This rabbi was saying a story about a girl. She was driving home from upstate. While she was driving home from upstate, she stopped by a gas station. Over there in the gas station, it was not a self-help. It was an attending guy doing the gas for you. There was a short guy over there, a dwarf. Guy who suffered from dwarfism. You know those? Yeah. His name was Vinny.
Vinny.
Yeah. I remember his name. And while he was doing the gas, you know, it's not nice. You don't want to look at them if you're going to make them feel bad. And she had a picture of her father in the car. Of her father. Listen to this, Rabotai. You don't know what kind of stuff you could do. You don't know what kind of potential you have. Just a good morning. Just a hello. What it could do to a person. This guy, this small midget, this dwarf, guy who suffered from dwarfism, he's doing the gas, and he sees from the window while he was cleaning the windshield the picture of this girl's father. He started banging on the window. She gets scared, you know. What is this guy banging on my window? And he's pointing at the picture. She gets, you know, curious. Why is he pointing at her father's picture? She rolled down the window and says, "Who's this guy to you?" She says, "That's my father." He says, "I've been looking for this guy for 2 years. 2 years I've been looking for this guy." Why are you looking for this guy? Because this is the only man in all my life I've been giving gas over here. Beard and peot this guy was. he was the only man who used to come out of his car and strike up a conversation with me. And all these years I work at this gas station, nobody even looks at me. But this was the only guy, her father, Hasidic guy, who used to get out of his car, said, "You want a cup of coffee?" Used to speak with this guy, make this guy feel big. She told him, "Listen, my father passed away." She says, "You Jews," he said, "you don't know what kind of people you are. You don't know what kind of potential you have. If a Jew really wants, if a Yehudi really wants, you don't know what you can do. You don't know what a word has power." You know, I used to work in a school. Sometimes there are kids who are bullied in school. Bullied. Bezrat Hashem, may none of our kids ever be bullied. This is one of the worst things that could happen. Sometimes not even by the kids in school. Sometimes even by the teachers. And the kid feels down. He's downtrodden. He feels like garbage. When kids are small, they have a very, very, very sensitive self-esteem. And some kids, unfortunately, they're at the bottom of the food chain. Do you know what you can do just by going over to that child, putting a hand over his back and say, "How you feeling today?" By making him feel somebody, making him feel like something. Do you know, Rabotai, sometimes you look in your phone and you see these old contacts that you lost contact with, just to send them a hello, how you doing? How you feeling? How you been? Do you know what one text message could do? You don't even have to talk anymore. Just, how you doing? How have you been? You could make a person's day. You could save a person's life. I've read stories of people who were about to suicide, kill themselves. About to kill themselves, Rahman al-Islam. At the last second, they get a text message from their old friend from high school. "Hey, I've been thinking about you. How have you been?" Somebody in the world is thinking about me. I mean something to somebody. You just saved a person's life. Rabotai, let's not wait for miracles. Let's not wait till we have to yell out to Hashem till the bottom of our heart. Let's take a step forward before that happens. Let's change our lives before that happens. We can make a difference. It doesn't matter if it's one person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. It doesn't matter if it's your child, your wife, your brother, your sister, your friend. Rabotai, you can make a difference in somebody's life. May Hashem be zocheas to bask in the glory of His name. May be zoche to be at Mashiach Tzidkenu. May be zoche to be chozer b'tshuva. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen v'amen.